Greetings, everyone. My name is Amy Murzyn. I am the Director of Special Education Programs and Chair of Teacher Licensure at the College of St. Scholastica in Duluth, Minnesota. I am coming to you today to talk about creator perceptions of open educational resources and a focus group study that I conducted. My history with OER is pretty limited. I was named an OER or Open Ed Research Fellow for the 2022-2023 year, and I'm finishing that up this year. And my session is a lightning session. So according to the description, it's short, it's pre-recorded, and it offers a quick take on either a story, a case study idea, or a technique. So my idea today is to just share briefly with you about the technique I used, focus groups, and then the idea that I had surrounding it. So in light of that, let's go ahead and get started here. My outcomes for the session that I presented or that I proposed were identifying common themes that emerge from the narratives of my OER content creators, evaluate the impact of that collaborative teamwork on the creation of OER texts, and then propose some recommendations for supporting OER content creation. So in thinking about my project overall, my study, I really wanted to focus on that perception of the COOP framework and thinking about perception specifically from that creator lens, so the focus on the creator's perception. And when I was looking at existing information, number one, there's just a lot of quantitative data available out there. And then not only is it more heavily quantitative, it's also related to the adoption and the use or efficacy from either students or faculty, but not on the actual creation of the materials. The creative perceptions were also, information was also from students who created open pedagogy or OER assignments. So again, nothing from the lens of perhaps the textbook writer or somebody that's creating something for use at a larger level. So that was the angle that I wanted to take, and I wanted to focus more on that descriptive lens. So creating OER through a descriptive lens. The participants in the study were a convenience group of members of two writing teams that were creating an open ed text in the field of special education. The hope was that I could expand that to a larger population, though the other group that I reached out to was not interested or did not express interest in participating at the time. So a limitation is that I conducted one focus group. There were 4 participants within that group, including one facilitator. The project itself, I was a member of one of the writing teams, so I'll put that out there as well. But we were tasked with writing 2 different textbooks specific to special education, OER textbooks. And so that's how the teams came about. There were teams of 3 for each book, and I was able to garner members from each of the separate teams, but not all of the members of the separate team. So there was a total of 6 writers and a facilitator, and I was able to talk with 3 writers and the facilitator, and then myself as an observer, but I did not participate in the discussion. And again, this was descriptive. So some of the themes that I found as I was looking through the transcripts, I did a transcript-based analysis, and some of the things that I found were just number one, that there was pretty limited prior experience, both in the creation and in use. So everybody had dabbled in OER, a little bit in open pedagogy, but hadn't done a lot of actual writing of content. Many people had pulled information from available resources, but very few had actually created on a consistent level information to be used at large. So writing a textbook was pretty new, especially in an open format for a majority of the team, for all of the team members. Some of the themes that came up were just motivations for participating and creating. All of the participants value OER in education, especially in terms of that affordability and adaptability. So number one, making it more cost effective for our students. So making it, it's a more equitable process. And then the ability to adapt. So even though they had a limited experience with OER authorship, there was still that common desire to provide something that was both affordable and then easily adaptable. There was also that commitment to accessibility and quality, with the desire to challenge that traditional publishing model. The textbooks are getting so expensive, and that was a common theme of the discussion, was the expense of the textbook. Within the actual writing of the project, themes that came up in the experiences, the team members really appreciated that ability to be the subject matter expert, and that made the project itself more easy to engage in, because the subject was something that they were interested in and had expertise in. So that made the familiarity, made that process more enjoyable. They also appreciated the creativity within the process of writing and being able to choose the items that were most applicable. So one of the barriers that many encounter in traditional textbooks is that you can't pick and choose. It's just all content, and you may or may not appreciate or want all of that content. There was a value for openness, equity, and collaboration, with that focus on creative, inclusive resources that benefited learners and educators alike. So again, that cost savings. There was a value on equity. The project really leaned heavily into equity, using the equity branch. So each person was able to have an equity audit of their chapters. And so all of the members really said that that was a value to them. Challenges revolved more around time management, managing managing contributors, addressing anxiety and procrastination. There was a feeling of overwhelmingness when you were accumulating a large number of research and then resources, and trying to sort through all of that, and then trying to synthesize it and put it into that actual resource or that text chapter. Overall, though, the participants viewed OER writing as very fulfilling and valuable, even though there were a few challenges. There was also an impact on collaboration if we look at that second outcome. Each appreciated the cross-institutional collaboration. There were institutions from multiple states and across different regions within each of the states. They felt like that teamwork enhanced the experience. It fostered creativity and idea sharing, also provided motivation and accountability. Another feature or theme that emerged was that the smaller teams were much more appreciated. Everybody had a clear role. People felt like there was trust and there was easy communication across successes there. So the collaboration was successful. And then one piece that did emerge also was that collaborative work on OER projects can be a little bit challenging, just due to people's scheduling and commitments across their institution. Recommendations for the project in general, or for OER writers, and propose recommendations for supporting OER content creation based on the themes that emerged. Just really clear project structures and expectations would be helpful. When the clarity is fuzzy, it makes the work more difficult and frustrating. So having uncertainty about project expectations and goals can also be time consuming. Another recommendation is setting deadlines and ensuring that the contributors meet them. This can be difficult, but it is essential for the forward progress. When we have those looming large deadlines, it helps to have these benchmarks so that we know that each person can meet that deadline. Fair compensation, again, there was a huge discussion on the value of OER and the value of open pedagogy and being able to share freely, but also they need to fairly compensate the writers. So even though the content is freely given, it shouldn't be freely given and created, because there is just not capacity to do that. A final recommendation then would also be to offer structured professional development. There was not any consistency in the support people had prior to writing their text. A lot of it was, well, I've attended open ed, which is amazing. It's been a great resource for people. We looked at, the discussion was looking at other existing open textbooks for guides, but nobody had a full on experience with getting professional development for writing these open texts. So that would be a final recommendation. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to my 10-minute lightning talk. Please reach out with questions. I can be reached here at my email. I'm still on Twitter or X, but I would love to connect with you outside of that. I have not changed platforms yet. So if you've got any recommendations on how we can connect, I would love to hear that as well. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. Thank you for listening.